Hello, I'm Austin Wilson, co-portfolio manager at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management.
And I'm Chase Rose, associate wealth advisor here at Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. We are here to give you an economic and market update for the month of May, looking back at April.
Yeah.
Austin, why don't you get us started with some news on the market?
Yep, the market's not so good. So
Boo.
keep this in mind. We've had 2023 a really good year. 2024, the first quarter was really good. April, we had a little bit of a profit taking, some give back.
This is the first month in some time.
It is.
We're actually going to have some red numbers.
But we're still good for the year. We're still good for long periods of time. Everything's good. So S&P 500 down 3.89%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average down 4.34%. The NASDAQ Composite down 4.48%. Small cap stocks down 6.08%. That's a pretty big drop. Developed international stocks, so this is areas like Europe, developed markets like that, down 2.89%. Emerging market stocks up 0.54%. Has the tide turned in EM? We'll see. We'll see if it stays. And bonds were down as interest rates were up. Bonds were down 1.79%. So a little bit of a weaker month, but again, following a lot of strength. We were kind of due for some sort of pullback. Peak to trough, the S&P fell a little bit over 5%. Totally normal. Totally healthy. Totally normal.
Absolutely. Yeah. So now that the market performance is behind us, I like to take this opportunity to get Austin updated on some of the pop culture headlines from the past month.
I need all the help I can get.
He's back in his office, looking at these numbers all day, every day. So
I need some help.
He needs some help. So as everyone probably already knows, I'm just simply going to educate Austin here. Some pop culture moments over the last month. O.J. Simpson.
He died.
He did die.
Yeah, the white glove.
Yeah, the glove doesn't fit.
You didn't think I knew that one?
I mean, you didn't know that.
I mean, he was really the murderer. He played football or something too.
Yeah, right? Okay, there you go. Well, O.J. Simpson did die, and Taylor Swift released a new album. I always like to throw in some Taylor Swift here and there, So yeah.
Without Chase, I would still think that Taylor Swift's like a 16-year-old country star.
Fair enough. I am educating this man. He educates me on investments. I educate him.
Yes, it goes both ways.
Yes,
so yeah, OJ died. Yeah. That was really sad. I was actually
really sad.
I was at a meeting.
Bold statement.
And I was at a meeting, and I was at a table with a bunch of other professionals, and my phone was up, and Bloomberg news alert came. I got a Bloomberg news alert that OJ died.
That's big time.
I know. So it's interesting.
He basically started the Kardashian dynasty. So
yeah. So speaking of employment, because he had a lot of lawyers on the payroll.
He did.
Jobs remain plentiful in the United States as the JOLTS report came out recently. 8.5 million job openings in the U.S., but hiring has slowed. So non-farm payrolls, which is really a look at how many jobs were added in the economy, came in weaker than expected for the month. Wage growth came in weaker than expected for the month, and the unemployment ticked up from 3.8 to 3.9% for the month of May. So while we still have a very strong, very robust job market, it is slowing. Gains are slowing. Things are slowing down a bit, which is actually not a bad thing for the Fed, which we're going to talk about next.
Sure.
But you're up next.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in sports news, so April
16th, I need help here too.
Yeah. April, I basically just cover the areas that Austin is not an expert in. So April 16th marked the 100-day mark to the start of the Olympics, which are being held in Paris this year. In Paris, yes. And an important, or not an important, it's actually really not that important, but an interesting fact, in a tradition that starts in Greece. Every year, the Olympics, 100 days before the Olympic torch is lit and kept alive and transported to where the Olympics will be held. So on April 16th, the torch was lit and will be transported to Paris for the start of the Olympics. And I couldn't tell you what that date is. Just count 100 days after April 16th.
100 days after April 16th.
100 days, yep. So whenever that start is, the torch will still be lit, which is on.
You know what else comes from Greece? Fried chicken.
Really?
You fry it in Greece.
This guy.
As we just got a new chicken joint in town. All right, number 3, the Fed. I mentioned it earlier. The Fed kept rates unchanged in their most recent meeting, and Jerome Powell came across a bit more dovish this meeting than he had recently. And this really was actually solidified after the weaker than expected jobs report came in that the Fed is not going to make things any tighter. They're certainly not going to be, increasing interest rates anymore. And while we had recently gotten to the point where it was almost a coin toss whether you were going to get a rate cut or two even, now you're kind of back in the 2 to 3 camp by the end of the year. So, and the markets have liked that. That's been pretty good for the markets.
Sure, yeah. I was thinking, would have been a better line for that Greece joke.
What?
French fries.
French
From
fries.
Greece to French fries for the
for
Olympics.
Paris? Yeah. Okay, so was Michael Phelps in the last Summer Olympics? Did he do like one event or two events or something?
I don't know. We might need to call our sports expert.
Yeah.
Which actually in this office is me, and I don't know the
Exactly.
answer to that question.
Because he did like so many Summer Olympics.
Yeah. Well, he's got enough medals to last a lifetime for most teams.
Hey, we're going to be talking about
most countries. He has more medals.
We're
than most
going to be
countries.
talking about gold here very shortly.
I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
All right. In the month of April, the Federal Trade Commission, otherwise known as FTC, voted to ban non-compete clauses.
True.
They did do that, yes. Their primary reasoning being that it limits worker mobility, it suppresses pay, and undermines competition between companies and industries. Allegedly, yeah. Non-competes, they were initially used for higher paid executives to keep them from obviously taking all the secrets to another company. But they've actually trickled down quite a bit. And nowadays, 1 in 5 employees in the corporate world do have a non-compete agreement within their employment contract.
Yeah.
So immediately, as soon as that news report came out, almost immediately, I guess that's a relative term, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce vowed to sue the FTC for this move, hoping to block it. And they are citing that non-competes protect confidential information for companies and also encourages them to invest in their employees and their workforce in the hope that they won't leave somewhere else.
Yeah, one of the arguments that I was reading about this particular, discussion is that they would also argue that employees are actually compensated more for having a non-compete.
Sure. Absolutely.
We'll see what happens.
As
of right now, it's not law yet. It's just...
It's still going.
It's ongoing.
Hasn't been 100% passed.
Maybe don't turn in your letter yet.
Don't turn that in.
All right. So speaking of the Olympics, gold has been on fire.
At the Olympics this year?
I'm going to win some gold. I'm going to watch some people get some gold medals. That's what I'm gonna do. If there was like fried chicken eating competition...
Or
pizza,
banana bread baking competition.
Excellent banana bread. Anything eating. I'm eating mostly, as you see. So gold has been on fire lately. It's up double digits this year so far. It's trading well above its 50 and 200-day moving averages. So the question is this the time for gold? Chase? No. Probably not.
I didn't know the answer.
I'm just going to say probably not.
He's the expert.
Again, this is not a recommendation, but historically speaking, when gold has gotten this extended in a short period of time, returns from this point forward have been less than average for sure, and oftentimes even negative. So we're not backing up the truck at the gold mine right now.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Maybe later.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right. When you think of sheep,
yeah,
what do you think of?
Lamb chops.
Back to the food. Look at this guy.
Lamb chops.
Well, soon enough.
Ooh, gyro meat.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I just had a gyro the other day. It was very good.
Yeah.
Extremely good. I loved it. Soon it'll be hard to separate the thought of sheep and solar panels.
What?
I know, random combination there, right? Obviously there's been a huge push for clean energy investment in the United States, and local farmers are actually now being paid to make their sheep graze around solar panels because it keeps the grass levels down. Yeah.
Huh.
I know. One rancher actually cited that this might be the biggest opportunity for sheep farmers in a generation. So, yeah.
So if you get the solar panels, you got to have
you have some sheep.
Think of the combination deals you can work out. You buy 3 solar panels and get 2 sheep for free.
A BOGO.
It's a BOGO. It's a BOGO for sheep. Yeah. That's not bad. Not bad.
It's actually, the term is called solar grazing.
Solar grazing. Yeah. They could do the same thing with goats, right?
Oh, yeah.
Goats
anything.
Cows. Yeah, for sure. Donkeys.
Yeah.
Man, okay, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. So many people will know, especially around the office, I'm a fan of Japan. I've been to Japan, spent a lot of time in Japan. Love the Japanese culture, Japanese people. Japanese food is so stinking good. Yeah, it's hard to get around here. Yeah. Seafood. You're by the sea. It's so fresh and delicious. Okay, food. I'm done with food.
We're landlocked.
You know what? But you know what? You can buy with a devalued yen a lot of food for the money. So Japanese currency is called the yen. It has been moving higher for really the past year or so, and it's traded all the way up to about 150 to 160 yen per dollar. So you turn in $1, you get 150 to 160 yen, Japanese yen, and then you go take that yen and you buy things. So that means that the yen has gotten a lot weaker. But what does that mean is your dollar goes a lot further. So it's really a great time to go take a trip to Japan right now. But what this has also done is it has boosted their stock market in a lot of ways. And their stock market just now, recently this year, regained highs dating back all the way back to the 1980s, the late 1980s. So we talk about the lost decade being, 2000 to 2008. And then there was another one, another 6-7 years after that where, we're losing, we've been underwater for periods of time. Well, the Japanese stock market was actually underwater for like 3 decades and then some. So, our bear markets have been a little bit short.
Yeah. Thankfully.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Not a lot of sheep over there.
I wouldn't imagine so. Yeah.
It's very mountainous.
Oh, yeah. The more you know. I didn't know a whole lot about Japan geography.
We should go sometime.
We should go sometime. That would be a lot of fun. We could do a live stream.
Live stream.
All right. Now is time for the Florida news story of the month.
Every month, this is what I tune in for.
Yeah, well, I mean, this one isn't as crazy, but it is informative. In case you ever find yourself out in the wild in Florida, just watch out for something called a skunk ape.
Skunk ape.
I've had some stories recently about some animals that escaped captivity. Black bears, grizzly bears, monkeys, things of that sort. They're just building a whole collection of wild animals out there.
There's a lot of swamp to get lost in.
There is a lot of swamp to get lost in. But if you find yourself in that swamp, look out for a skunk ape. Now there have been recent sightings that have actually brought up some. It's like a legend that's been dating back 5 years or so.
Like a chupacabra.
No, it's not that. I don't even know what that is. I've heard of it, but I don't even know.
It's like a Mexican myth creature.
Okay, well, this is the Floridian version of that. The skunk ape. So it is being described as a Bigfoot-like creature.
Oh my.
Not as big as a Bigfoot, but it does accompany itself with a extremely
pungent,
disgusting skunk smell. So if you find yourself in the wild, it either could be a skunk or you could find yourself in some serious danger.
All right,
and it might be a company with a grizzly bear that's got a bag of Taco Bell.
Here is a poll question. Answer in the comments below.
Yeah, please do.
Do you believe in Bigfoot? I'm really curious.
Don't. You're not supposed to expose all my conspiracies on here, Austin.
All right. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Austin and Chase here with Hixon Zuercher Capital Management. Thanks for listening. Thanks for laughing with us. We really are thankful that you're here. And please remember, nothing we talked about is a recommendation, but if you have any questions about your financial situation, give us a call at 419-425-2400 or email us at hello@hzcapital.com. And until next month.
I would recommend you don't come across a skunk ape. That is a recommendation.
Yeah, so that is a recommendation. But until next month, have a good one.
See ya.
Bye.